My wife ran away with $40,000. 14 months later, she came back, but another woman opened the door. The hardest part about being someone's plan B is that you usually don't know it until the plan A falls apart. I'm Marcus. For 12 years, I was the guy who provided the safety net. My wife, Elena, was a high-octane real estate agent, always chasing the next big thrill. One Tuesday, I came home from my shift at the fire station to find her side of the closet empty. No note, no phone call, just a text 3 hours later that said, "I'm suffocating, Mark. I need to go breathe. Don't wait for me." She took $40,000 from our joint savings, money we'd set aside for a house renovation, and just vanished. For the first 6 months, I was a ghost. I'd stare at the spot on the bed where she used to sleep, wondering what I'd missed. My brother told me to move on. But how do you move on from a 12-year habit? Then I met Claire. She was the new librarian in town, and she'd started coming by the station to drop off books for our literacy program. We started talking about jazz, then about gardening, and eventually, about her scars. Claire had lost her husband to cancer 3 years prior. She knew what it felt like to have a hole in your life that you didn't ask for. By month 8, Claire wasn't just the book lady. She was the reason I started cooking again. She was the reason I started laughing. We were slow, we were careful, and we were happy. Then, 14 months after the closet went empty, my phone buzzed. It was Elena. A photo of her at a beach, looking tired, followed by a text. "I'm tired of breathing on my own, Mark. I'm ready to come home and be the woman you deserve. I'll be there tomorrow." I didn't reply. I called my attorney. See, while Elena was breathing in Cabo and Scottsdale with a guy she'd met at a seminar, I'd been doing some legal housework. I documented the abandonment, filed for legal separation, and tracked every cent of that $40,000 she'd blown on luxury rentals and bad investments. The next afternoon, the doorbell rang. I didn't answer it. Claire did. She was wearing one of my oversized flannels, holding a tray of seedlings we were about to plant in the backyard. Elena was standing there with 2 designer suitcases, her "I'm sorry" face already practiced and ready. But when Claire opened the door, Elena's jaw didn't just drop, it hit the floor. "Who are you?" Elena stammered, her eyes darting to the ring on Claire's finger, a simple vintage band we'd picked out at a flea market a week ago. I stepped up behind Claire and put my hand on her shoulder. "She's the woman who stayed, Elena," I said. Elena's face went from shock to pure, unadulterated rage. "We're still married, Marcus. You can't just replace me like a broken appliance." "You didn't break, Elena," I said, my voice as steady as a heartbeat. "You left, and while you were out finding yourself, I found someone who actually wanted to be found. The divorce papers are in the mail. Don't bother coming in." I closed the door. The knocking lasted for 20 minutes. The screaming lasted for 10. Then, silence. The divorce was quick. The judge didn't take kindly to her self-discovery tour, being funded by my retirement savings. She walked away with 15% of what was left and a lot of burnt bridges. 6 months later, I saw her at a local coffee shop. She was arguing with the barista over a price, looking frayed and desperate. She saw me, and for a second, I saw that old spark of Elena try to flare up, like she was going to come over and charm me. But then, Claire walked out of the shop, carrying 2 lattes, laughing at something I'd texted her. I didn't even acknowledge Elena. I just took Claire's hand and kept walking. Because the thing about Plan B is, once you realize you're actually Plan A for someone else, you never want to go back to being an afterthought. The lock didn't just change on the door, Elena. It changed in here.